So here's going to be a review of the miniseries The Defenders. I rewatched the series as part of my marathon of Daredevil and Phase 1 of the Defender saga prior to the premiere of Disney Plus's Daredevil Born Again. As mentioned, this was part of a rewatch, as I originally watched this series back when it came out in 2017, as I was watching all of those Netflix Marvel shows as they were coming up, leading up to The Defenders, which included Daredevil Season 1 and Jessica Jones Season 1 in 2015, Daredevil Season 2 and Luke Cage Season 1 in 2016, and Iron Fist Spring 2017, a few months before The Defenders debuted. The setup for The Defenders was very much like Phase 1 of the Avengers, as all of these shows played a role in establishing the heroes, the overarching story, leading up to the team-up of the titular heroes. And how would that team-up fare out? In this show, in New York City, 4 street-level heroes, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, team up to stop a secret organization from acquiring ultimate power. With the nature of this being a crossover event, there are several cool things done here to make it feel like something special. It's not just as simple as the characters just coming together. It's the worlds and the vibes of their shows colliding. All of these shows have a distinct vibe and tone to them, and you get to see that in the setup for this show, with them showing the f***ed up doom and gloom somber world of Jessica Jones, the law and order criminal tone of Daredevil, and the blaxploitation vibe of Luke Cage. I don't know what tone you'd call Iron Fist, martial arts crusader I guess. To go along with this, a cool yet slightly overdone visual element to this series was the emphasis on color palettes for the main characters in the scenes that played out like normal episodes of their show before the whole team-up angle starts. Red for Daredevil, blue for Jessica Jones, yellow for Luke Cage, and green for Iron Fist. It was a cool way to separate the worlds of these shows before the crossover happens. Not to mention the intro credit sequence for every episode was f***ing awesome. But the thread of the hand is what intertwines all these stories in a somewhat complex but cool setup over the first few episodes. Even though the show is called The Defenders and we obviously know the heroes are going to team up, the show properly treats the moment where they finally meet each other as a big deal. You know, that first time Iron Fist meets Luke Cage or Matt Murdock meets Jessica Jones, until they all come together. And I gotta say, that initial scene where they all come together in that office tower fight was just all kinds of badass. A nice thing about any kind of team up is seeing the differing personalities collide. Even when everyone is seemingly on the same side, they all have their own agendas, which leads to a handful of appropriately tense moments. Especially with someone like Jessica Jones. You know, she really is an asshole and got a nasty attitude. But that leads to some great one-liner insults she gets off on the villains and her fellow defenders here.
I don't know if she did diversity hires.
I need to leave now.
If you grab me like that again, I'll punch you so hard you see. You look like an asshole.
Sure, scarf.
On that subject of characters, Iron Fist had a less than stellar debut in Season 1 of his show, but better writing in this show leads to a much better character here. I still think it's a big issue him not wearing the proper comic book accurate attire, but at least he's wearing green and showing that tattoo more in this show. But in this series, he's got fun, youthful energy to him compared to his other defenders, and it's appropriate that he was the one showing enthusiasm for the prospects of a classic superhero team-up, whereas everyone else in the group's initial reaction to it was f*** that. But the only way you can have a superhero team-up is if you have a threat for them to go against. And here that comes in the form of the Hand, a secret organization that was the main threats of Daredevil Season 2 and Iron Fist Season 1. They had no role in Jessica Jones or Luke Cage whatsoever. Without boring y'all with too many of the details, they're an organization that dabbles into the mystic and seeks power through immortality, as it's allowed them to have eternal influence over the world. In The Defenders, they use a human vessel known as the Black Sky to lead them to something known as the Substance, which will, I guess, assuredly grant them the immortality they seek. Yeah, that sounds stupid as and you certainly won't hear me arguing that it ain't. Despite it being built up as the main threat through all these shows, I always thought the Hand was the worst part of all of those Defender shows. In all honesty, it ruined half of Daredevil Season 2, And all of that stuff was a snooze fest in Iron Fist. In those series, the Hand has been present in, including the Defenders. I just don't think their goals are presented very well. The story is a bit too convoluted to follow, and as antagonists, it pales in comparison to much better villains shown in those shows, like Kingpin, Kilgrave, or Cottonmouth. While I still didn't love the Hand stuff in the Defenders, which is unfortunate because it takes up a lot of the show, there are 3 things done here that do make it a bit better here. One is having Sigourney Weaver play the head of this organization named Alexandra. Even if not all the material she says is great, you got a great actress who has a great presence, and leads here to some nice interactions with the heroes. Reason number 2 is whereas Matt Murdock and Danny Rand know all about the Hand and their workings, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage have no experience with them, so it's fun seeing them initially turned off to all the mystical mumbo-jumbo stuff when it comes to them. Especially Jessica Jones, who has no tolerance for that kind of shit. But Luke Cage, being genuinely a nice guy, is more willing to help out to do the right thing. I think it was cool that those characters had each other to get through this crazy scenario, based on their hot and biracial sexual history in Jessica Jones Season 1. But the main thing that makes the Hand story more tolerable here, and this isn't a spoiler, is that the human vessel used to be the Black Sky turns out to be a resurrected Elektra, former lover of Daredevil. While the Elektra story had some fun moments in Daredevil Season 2, it was in large part weak, especially in comparison to that season's Punisher stuff, leading to a disjointed season. I think the Defenders ultimately makes the Elektra stuff in Daredevil feel worth it, because you see that character reach her full potential as an absolute badass, capable of taking down Matt Murdock, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage all at once. And as with all versions of that romance, it's doomed and destined to fail, but in a beautiful way. On that subject, if you're marathoning Daredevil for the first time, you need to watch the Defenders in between seasons 2 and 3. Otherwise, the beginning of season 3 won't make much sense. And without spoiling the details, the Defenders showcases Matt in a very interesting transition period of his life, after his crusade as Daredevil took an emotional toll on himself and his friends. There are 8 episodes in the Defenders, which is less than the typical 13 that the other Marvel Netflix shows got. But I guess with all the characters featured here, it would have been too expensive to do 13 episodes. I think the action overall here was pretty good. I'd say about 90% of all the characters featured in the show know martial arts, something Jessica Jones mentions. So it leads to a lot of those kind of fight scenes, and it's especially fun when you get more and more of them as you get to the climax. There's also some variety with Luke Cage, who relies on his bulletproofness and durability, and then Jessica Jones, who just fights you dirty with her super strength, I guess. It's kind of hard to describe what she is.
Bulletproof. Blind ninja. Whatever it is you are.
Classy.
While I still don't think the overall Hand story is great, to be honest, it's not even good. It's a complex wheeze of a narrative that works at bringing the Defenders together, and then giving you the kind of stuff that you want from a team-up crossover type story. And that's mainly because the character interactions are just so good. There's enough good and great stuff in the Defenders that even with the flaws, I found it very enjoyable at the time it came out, and I still do now. Not quite enough for me to put it in the excellent category, but I'd say I liked it a lot. And that's because it was a rewarding payoff for what was set up in the previous shows, with the main hero, supporting characters, and stories coming together in very fun fashion. After the Defenders, though, those Marvel Netflix shows went in the opposite direction with their stories mostly being kept separate, with nothing of substance being built up towards until the original end of those shows in 2019. I think the big problem which led to the original downfall of those shows was that the Defenders was not the viewership juggernaut they hoped it'd be, but I mostly blame that on Iron Fist, which came out a few months before that, and that was a dud, and I think that bled into the anticipation and release of the Defenders. But all these years later, while we've seen Daredevil fully incorporated into Disney's grand plan, there hasn't really been anything shown of Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, or Iron Fist in a Disney MCU production. But I'd honestly be shocked if there wasn't something major saved up or teased for them in Daredevil Born Again. Maybe that's wishful thinking on my part, but I'm really hoping for it. That would definitely get me hyped. So that'll do it for this review of the Defenders. If you made it to the end of this video, Thank you for watching.